Hello everybody, I am back and I wanted to show you what I got recently, so I guess this is an unboxing. As you can see, it says Pietta Historic Weapons Reproduction, so this is a reproduction of an 1851, or I'm sorry, a Colt 1851 Navy. It's made by Pietta. This is specifically their Navy Yank version, which is a little bit different than all their normal versions, and I'll show you here. If I can get it out with one hand. Here we go. Get the box off. So it comes with, I bought this from Cabela's, so it comes with their instruction manual for muzzle loading pistols and shotguns and stuff like that. And then it comes with the Pietta instructions and safety manual. It's in this nice little, like, styrofoam box thing. Oh, I guess it was upside down. There we go. It's in a little plastic bag. If I can get the little thingy off of it here. Take it out of its bag, maybe. I'm trying to do this with one hand, it's not working very well. But anyway, like I said, this is the Navy Yank version, so what makes this different than the normal one is it's got, normally this frame would be brass, but this is a steel frame. It does still have the brass trigger guard and the brass back strap here, but the actual frame is steel. And the only reason that I went with this one, this was about $50 more expensive than the regular one. So this one was about $270, and the original, like the regular 1851 Navy, was like $220. But the reason I went with this one is because it has a steel frame. It can take a little bit more powder charge. So you can load a little bit more powder into it, make it a little bit more, I don't want to say explosive, but a little bit more power behind your ball. And you don't have to worry about bending the frame, because at least from what I've done my research on some of these brass framed 1851 Navies, if you shoot them a lot, like if you're constantly shooting them, you're taking them out and you're shooting 100, 200, 300 shots in a day with one at the range or something, they said that they have gotten the brass frames have started to warp. So I decided that I might not be shooting this a whole lot, but I still want to have that just in case I do end up going out and shooting it. It is really oily, but that's supposedly Pietta does do theirs, really big. I also got mine in 44 caliber. You can see it there. Now, the 1851 Navy was never made in 44 caliber. It was a 36 caliber weapon when it came out. But I generally like shooting 44 better than 36 anyway. So I figured I would go ahead and just buy the 44 version. I'm not into this for the 100% accuracy, and you can see if my camera will focus. Oops. It says made in Italy there. Now it does say it right on the side, and where I've heard people want it placed is underneath here, but like I said, I'm not particularly worried about that. I just like the 1851 Navy. And actually, I think you can maybe see the year it was produced. Right there. See if I can get my camera to focus on it again, maybe. But it says 2022, so this is actually a fairly new gun. Now, the nice thing about this is because it's a reproduction of an 1851 black powder weapon, it's not considered a firearm under federal law. So normally I wouldn't be allowed to have this because I'm not 21, but because it's not considered a firearm under federal law, and it's a reproduction of what they call an antique, or I'm sorry, it's a replica, and it is black powder, I am allowed to have it. Now, I haven't really looked at it since. I basically just taken it out now. Let me switch hands here for my camera. I went with my left hand because I'm a lefty. But you can see the laser engraving. I think, yeah, this is laser engraved, but I think on the originals it was actually just regularly engraved. Well, of course it was, they didn't have lasers in 1851. But you can see that naval battle there on the side. But yeah, it is a black powder gun, and then It feels really good. I mean, I love black powder revolvers anyway. And I like this one in particular because I guess it's like the stereotypical black powder cowboy gun. Cause Wild Bill Hickok, I believe, had two 1851 Navies that he used. I also like that on these, so if you're looking down, it's unloaded, just so everybody knows, and you can see there's no percussion caps on it, so I'm going to put it to half cock here, and spin it here so you can see that there's no percussion caps on it. The gun is completely safe. But anyway, if you're looking down the barrel, and you're getting ready to fire it, your back sights are actually in the trigger there. Or, I'm sorry, in the hammer there. So that's how you line up your shot. But at least on the people I've seen on YouTube, the other reviews of stuff like this, the guns are really good, and everybody likes to shoot them. Now, this isn't the only thing I bought at Cabela's. Like I said, this was $270, or $269.99, something like that. And then I also went out and bought the Cabela's starter kit. Now, I bought it for a couple of reasons, but I have a side note with these. So, this is the black powder starter kit. It's got 454 round balls. It's got a powder flask and a powder measure, a capper, a nice nipple wrench, and some felt wads, pre-lubricated felt wads up here. Now, I will probably actually not be using the felt wads very much. I might use them a little bit in the beginning, and I probably won't be using this, but I mainly bought it for the powder flask, the powder measure, and the balls. Now, my plan is to go out and I still have to get, before I can even shoot this thing, I still have to get percussion caps for it. I have to find either black powder, or I'm probably just going to get Pyrodex, because there's Pyrodex all over here, but I cannot for the life of me find actual black powder. And then I'm actually going to go online. If you guys look at YouTube and you're searching 1851 Navies, one of the things you'll see is a YouTube channel called Guns of the West, and it's run by a guy named Dustin. He's really good. He does a lot of historical black powder firearm reviews and everything like that. But he has a paper cartridge kit. Now, these guns were black powder, but at the time that these were created, they were coming out with paper cartridges, and I personally would prefer paper cartridges in this, just because, I mean, it's faster to load, and I think if I were a cowboy back in 1851, I would probably prefer paper cartridges anyway. So he sells the kit for 44 revolvers for like $35, and it comes with everything you need to basically make paper cartridges. So I'm gonna go out and get that, and then I will get you guys. I will take this to the range eventually, and do a whole shooting review of it. But yeah, this is my purchase. Actually, if I can find it here in my really messy room, because I have been working a lot. This is the holster that I made. Or I should say my dad and I made. It was originally made to fit a Colt Peacemaker replica that I had for my cowboy costume that I like to wear occasionally for like historical events around town and everything. But I'm going to put it in, I'm going to see if the 1851 Navy will fit in it here. Alright, I'm back again. So this is the airgun replica of the Colt Peacemaker that I built this holster for. Just for you guys to see. Now, I wear my holster when I'm doing like historical events. I wear it differently than most people. Most people wear it like on their side, and it's like back here. I actually prefer it a little bit forward on my leg, and there's a reason for that. When you're doing cowboy draws, it allows me to pull my gun on my holster and hip fire it from here a lot faster than if it's back here, because then I have to pull it up and rock it forward, versus if I'm doing this, it's already up forward. There's a lot less to rock. Fire it from here, but that's something for like, that's something I just do. But anyway, so this is the holster that my dad and I made. It's a homemade holster, but it took us, I don't know, a month to do it. So anyway, so this is the reason, just this for comparison. And then underneath it, you can see the difference. The 1851 Navy is quite a bit longer barreled. But, and speaking of that, there is a version of this pistol, the 1851 Navy Yank. It's called the 1851 Navy Yank, or it's like Steel Sheriff or something like that, where the barrel is 5.5 inches long. But I went with the 7.5 inch one just because accuracy, and I don't know, I like the look of a little bit longer firearm. But anyway, putting it in my holster, you can see it actually fits quite well. You can see the barrel does stick out for about, I don't know, 1.5 inches down here. But it does fit very well in my holster, and where to pull it out, you know, it does fit very well, very nice in my holster that was made for the gun that would, you know, basically take it over. As far as now I'm thinking about it, and the little bit of history I did on it, the 1851 Navy was a very popular gun in both the North and the South during the Civil War, and for afterwards even, just because everybody had them. They were really nice. They were all over, so you could get parts for them. Then they were taken over by the Colt Peacemaker when the Colt Peacemaker came out, because the Peacemaker was just a better gun, and it had metallic cartridges, which were a lot easier, and you didn't have to, you know, worry about buying them, or I'm sorry, you didn't have to worry about making the paper cartridges. You could just go out and buy them. As far as the actual other features of the 1851 Navy Yank, we've got the half-cock position. You can see the barrel spins freely when it's in half-cock position. I have heard of people, when they're firing these or loading these, they will load 5 of the chambers. This is a 6-shot weapon. They will load 5 of the chambers instead of 6. And they'll call it the cowboy load so that they have safety. The nice thing about this and the Pietta reproductions, I think Uberti does them too. But if you pull it back to half-cock position, and you just rotate it just ever so slightly to that half, to the in between the two cartridges up top, there is a little groove that it sits in, and that way you can load all 6 barrels without having to worry about your hammer sitting on a live percussion cap, which I really like. So anyway, that is the 1851 Navy. I will make another video on it when I find time to get out to the range, which hopefully I can do soon. It is late October, so hopefully I can get out before it snows. If I can do it when it snows, I guess I do it when it snows, but not a big deal. But I do like the black powder revolver, and especially the 1851 Navy, but I hadn't seen a lot of reviews on the Navy Yank version. So that's one of the reasons I was making this video. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, feel free to ask them in the comments. And then I will also do my best to link the Guns of the West channel. And there's a couple other channels that I used on YouTube to do a lot of the research before I bought this gun. I will link most of those channels either in the description or in the comment section of my video. So anyway, you guys have a fantastic day. And thanks for reviewing the 1851 Navy.